So one of the things I like to do is just kind of dwell a bit on my failures. Because I grow so many different things and I harvest so much every week, it can look like nothing ever goes wrong unless I kind of draw attention to the specifics of things that have gone wrong. And sometimes that's out of my control, it's just the nature of things. And sometimes it is in my control and it's a mistake that I've made, so I want to dwell on those even more. So I'm going to show you a few things that have gone wrong, some gardening, growing related things, and some just, just poor planning, sort of blind spots that I happen to have with my strange brain. Let's have a look. So these tomatoes look lovely, but when I turned them out and planted them, there were no roots on them. So I'd obviously planted them into compost that was too rich for the small plants that they were. And I bought this dedicated tomato compost, and it was a no-feed wool compost. I won't mention the brand name. And it was too rich, is my guess. And as a result, there was enough feed in there to sort of put on all that top growth, but it either burnt off the roots or the roots just didn't develop at all. And I suspect it was the former. And so I'm not really sure. They're not planted in that compost now. So hopefully they'll kind of, put down some roots really quickly and they'll survive. I did the same thing with these courgettes. And again, when I turned these out to plant them, I was expecting this like really white root ball. And there was nothing. There was virtually no roots to be seen. Yeah, so anyway, it's kind of just fingers crossed for some of these early plants. And then when I took the cucumbers, I had 4 cucumbers in the conservatory, again, so planted into this same compost. I will mention it actually, it's Delfort. I think that's right. Anyway, I'll put up the details. And, I planted those about a month ago, and one died pretty quickly. And then the other 2 started looking really sad, other 3 looking really sad. And I finally sort of took them out yesterday and composted them. And again, there was just no roots at all. So it's all kind of quite shocking, really. I don't really mind, because again, these are kind of first earlies, and I'm just psychologically prepared to lose first earlies. It doesn't really bother me. But it does bother me a touch in terms of knowing what I did wrong, so that I don't repeat it next time. And I think it's just, when plants are young and small and not growing very fast, I think the lesson is don't put them in a rich compost. It's got very high nutrient levels. I generally use a really low nutrient compost for almost everything that I grow, and I don't feed. So, all these sorts of things, these are just in low nutrient compost, and they don't have a feed until they don't get a feed at all, they just get planted out. And then I love these little lettuce, they're called Moon Red. They're like a little gem, but as you can see, they've got these beautiful sort of bronzy red leaves. And, I like them so much that I plant them out quite early for an early crop. And this happens. And I wish I could say that I'd harvested all these gaps. And in fact, I've actually filled in some of the gaps with new plants. But unfortunately, no, all of these just rotted off at the stem. Now, it could be cutworm, it's possible, but it happens every year with these particular lettuce. And, if you look at this adjacent bed, this is what we should have, isn't it? And here's me being clever. So, trying to get ahead in spring, prepared these with these pots so that I can take the pots out and plant my winter squash kind of straight into these holes, just by taking the pot out and then putting the winter squash in like that. What a great idea. Unfortunately, these pots don't fit, so I can't drop the winter squash through the tops, and the leaves of a winter squash plant, you know, they're too big to kind of fold through if you put them in like that and then try and put that over the top of them. So that is really annoying. So I'm going to have to put a different size pot in there. And I planted this lovely little guava berry. It died on me. And then I had this great idea that I would plant alliums all the way down the front of this sort of tomato bed. Obviously it's not got tomatoes in it yet. So I've got garlic down here and some leeks here and some onions here and some more leeks down there. And then I topped some peppers as an experiment. I've never topped peppers before. I don't really recommend it. But anyway, I thought, well, these peppers are really small now because they've been topped. And what am I going to do with them? Because I don't really want to put them into my main pepper beds. So I thought, oh, well, I'll put them in here, which means I haven't got space now for all these alliums, so I've got to take them out. So anyway, see, just planning, don't always plan things right. And so just finally, here's an example of something that I did where I almost intentionally got it wrong. Well, so I had a big problem with the onions last year. Quite a lot of them went to seed, and so we've run out of onions now. So I kind of decided that I wanted to grow some onions as quickly as I possibly could. So put them in the back of the polytunnel here, planted the sets quite early, and of course these are going to seed now. That's no surprise, and I did kind of intentionally sort of plan on that happening. So they are being harvested now, basically, and that's now when we need them because we've run out of onions. So we just wanted the biggest onions as quick as possible. But all too often, you know, you can get into this situation where you think, oh, look at these beautiful, big, early onions, and then, you know, within 2 weeks they've all gone to seed on you. But these onions weren't meant to go to seed on me because these were planted quite a bit later, and some of them are still gone, and probably more will still go. So I hope you like this quick insight into how things go wrong for me occasionally. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment Channel, and I'll see you soon.